Here we go. Quarterfinals of the medium heavy. This is going to be a clash of titans. Matheus Diniz versus Lucas Hulk.
It's going to be exciting. Braulio, what do you think? Go.
I think
call the fight.
I think Lucas hasn't been as green as ever. It's going to be a good match. Hulk has been doing great. He's been doing the Grand Slam. He was the #1 of the ranking. He's doing great.
Yeah, he's been on fire. He's been doing really well. The last couple of years has really gone up a few levels. Fighting out of Atos in San Diego, Matheus Diniz out of the Marcelo Garcia gym in New York.
Yeah, forcing Diniz full guard, which is very unusual. Matheus tried to go to the deep half guard. Hulk sprawling, defending really well. Anchoring his right hand under the butt so he doesn't be pulled up. Try to get the underhook. See that right hand anchors him in a way that's very hard to move his hips up. And it's difficult to get to.
But he's not quite underneath him. Cook did a good job. I think it's because his right hand is in between Marcelo Diniz's legs. And when that happens, it gets difficult to pull yourself underneath him. That's normally how I defend the deep half, by the way.
Yeah.
I shoot my arm in between their legs, almost like I'm holding side control. And it stops, the bottom guy from getting underneath you. And the head fight there, is making, at this point, Mateus not even close to a deep half.
Yeah, no, it's too far.
Hulk with the pressure there, trying to get closer. Mateus not giving him much, but it looks like Hulk's making progress with that head there, yeah.
I like Romulo Barral.
Yes, but one thing Mateus should be looking at doing is preventing Hulk from getting that hand on the collar. I feel that hand on the bottom collar that really anchors the Hulk.
It does.
And, I think Hulk didn't get that nickname for no reason, right?
Yeah. Good position there by Mateus.
But, okay, what was Mateus' mistake here? He is...
Push out or bounce.
You have to circle, man. Yeah. It's so hard to... I'll give you guys a hint. So if you're a competitor and you're practicing at home, if your gym has, mat areas, right? Like, just like here, you have, the yellow and the blue. Practice that.
Yeah,
you need to practice the habit of turning it around 180 sometimes to score the point, because this happens too often. You forget about where you're at, and you're just trying to get on top no matter what, and you forget about how close you are to the edge of the mat. So having that awareness makes you a better competitor.
Yeah. So clearly, the deep half guard is not something that works in Hulk's game.
Well, he shut it off pretty well.
Yeah. See what Matheus Diniz will come up with next.
Both these guys know each other very well. It's brother, we talk about this all the time, but I love this topic. You see how the dynamic changes as the weight goes up. It's a completely different fight, isn't it?
The game is more whoever's on top.
It's exactly. You get the middleweight division. You still see a lot of guard playing, but
it's a transition.
Exactly. It's a spectrum, right?
Yeah,
it begins to let's fight to be on bottom till it gets the ultra heavy, and it's almost it's a judo wrestling match practically.
Exactly. It's a spectrum. And
in some cases, a sumo wrestling match.
That's why the lightweights, we have a little bit of both.
And
middleweight.
I'm a heavy guy. I've always been in the heavier division, but I've always loved the lighter divisions more. There's so much more
it's dynamic. A laboratory.
Well, they move more. It's easier to move when you're little, and you can do a lot more. The possibilities are greater. They expand.
I learn a lot.
The smaller you are. Yeah.
Because when you're heavy, you can get away with the things.
It's funny. I was having this conversation with Enzo Gracie a long time ago, and we agreed, and we were talking about how jiu-jitsu is harder when you're heavier. Everyone thinks jiu-jitsu is harder for the lightweight. It's the opposite.
Yeah.
The bigger you are, the more you get away with doing things in a certain way that may not be, not that they're not technical, they may not be the best way of doing something. When you're a lightweight, you don't get away with that. You have to do everything as close to perfect as possible, as technically as possible, to survive in the gym with the heavyweights, right? So being a lightweight in some ways is a privilege.
And that's why the smart heavyweights that learn from the lightweights become a better fighter.
I agree. And like that's why Buchecha is one of my favorite guys to watch
Yeah,
because he
'cause he
moves
does.
like he moves like a kid.
Yeah.
He moves like he weighs 100 pounds. Like, but you know, he weighs whatever he weighed at 250 now, 260, whatever. He's huge, but he moves like he's a teenager, right? And that's why he's so fun to watch.
Penalties for both athletes for being
Okay,
the same position for.
but you see how long that took. You see the
That took
difference?
too much, yeah.
Way too long, right?
Yeah, because it's the same, right? Should be equal. Even when there's no actions on standing, it's the same as a 50-50. No action, 30 seconds without
It's
nothing
no
happening.
action is no action. There should be no double standards or triple
On
standards.
mat 2, adult male black belt, medium heavy quarterfinal, representing Praza CTA, Hudson Matheus Diniz. Representing Alliance, Renato Guimarães Cardoso.
This has turned into a stand-up match, and not a lot of act. Like it does need more activity, like more movement to create. I feel like it's almost like they're doing the same thing that the lighter guys were doing, just waiting until the end for like really switch gears and nice ankle pick there by Matheus. That was close. One thing I'd like to see more, brother, tell me what you think, is a more grip fighting. Like you see in judo how much they grip fight. You don't see the same thing in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, not only standing, but even on the ground. Like judokas do that so well because they understand that if I allow you to get your strongest position, I may never recover.
Yes. It's
Right?
always-
And in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, we don't do that for some reason. We allow our opponents to grip, get the sleeve, get the lasso, and then we start fighting.
Some
A lot of people. Right? It's a very common thing. It's almost like we wait too long to start fighting. Right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it's something that the community got to be more aware of. Is like grip
It's true,
fighting
but
is important.
whoever figured it out are winning.
Absolutely. But
Lepre.
like, how many times in the gym do you let your opponent get the lasso and then you start trying to pass?
many
It's
times.
like, no, wait, don't touch my sleeve, man.
Exactly. You wanna fight. You wanna make your opponent feel uncomfortable all the time. If you let them feel comfortable, you're already behind.
Prevention over solution. I say it over and over. Prevention over solution. That's the key to success. Is not being in trouble to begin with. No one likes that answer for some reason, but it really is, I think, the key to success. So you've got both 2 penalties each with 4 minutes left. Bro, if this fight ended right now, who would you award the victory to?
It's a tough one, but I would say Hulk put a pressure on top there. That
Closer,
forced-
right? Yeah.
It forced Matheus have to stand up there, but also Matheus, man, it would be tough. I hate decisions when it's 0-0, man.
Yes.
I'm terrible. That's why I'm never going to be a referee.
Bro, I think that's we're going to watch another sprint close to the end, but it's kind of getting close to the end. I wonder how much they're going to wait.
Yeah, I mean, I think the closer the level, between the fighters come, it's always end up in the last second, isn't it? Always. That's why to make like shows with a super fight, you need to know how to match the fights. Because sometimes you get like 2 top competitors. Doesn't mean that the fight will be as good as we think it will. Yes.
And sometimes it's, and especially if they have similar styles, right, Braulio? Or there's like they clash in no man's land. That's what I call that middle ground, like no man's land. And I can't get past your first trench or you, and we kind of get. It's kind of where they're at. Like no one wants to be in a bad position on bottom because they're both so dominant on top. So we end up with these situations. And this is where I think like the referees could do a little bit more as far as like forcing them to engage more, take more chances. Because right now they're both terrified of taking in chances. And well, maybe not terrifying, not the word, but like they're very hesitant to attempt anything, right? And as a result, has not been a very dynamic match. We got 2 minutes left, and you know, yeah, I think this had the potential to be a lot more exciting.
Yeah, I think it's the clash of the styles here makes the fight be a little bit more head-to-head. You know, to be honest, like Matheus Diniz, he pulled guard at first to give it a try at least. You know, fair enough. I wonder if Hulk will do the same. So it doesn't go in the club. Now he won't.
So this happened in judo, whereas you know the competitors were keeping such a low stance like they are when they were leg attacks. When they prevented leg attacks, they kept a more upright stance. So it changes the takedowns completely. They can't attack the legs, so we keep a more upright stance. I've gone against really good judokas, and I got decent wrestling, bro. Like, if you get a single on some good judoka, it's terrifying. Because they hip toss you. Like, so,
whoopa.
Nice Hulk. Yeah. Matheus did the right thing by flowing with it. Like, you can't resist that takedown. You just kind of flow with that drop shoy.
I think Hulk is going for the actions mode here, you know, to show the referee that he wants it.
Exactly. That's a strategy. Like, show the ref that you want it more.
A minute ago, nothing happened. Nobody taking nobody down. I need to show action. Like two punishment for each.
But the point I was trying to make there is I think that if these guys had a more upright stance, I think it would open up. There's more risk because you can get tackled, but at the same time, if you're confident in your hip throws, it changes the fight a little bit. I think it'll be more, because this happens a lot in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? Everyone has this, like, it's a combination between a wrestling and a judo stance. It's kind of in between. And it ends up being a stalemate a lot of times because they're both, like, head-to-head and nothing's happening.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's going to be, for me, like...
Nice. Oh, that was close.
Matheus, you good?
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not a ref right now, man.
This is one of the hardest to decide. Like,
both competitors need to...
Yeah, that's
two.
This is...
Very end.
2 points.
2 points. Wow.
2 points.
10 seconds. Wow. He gave the Hulk an advantage for the arm attack. Matheus with the win.
Matheus in the last second. No way. It was as a counter. He has to be a counter because both of them was trying to kind of taking each other down.
But there's a problem. There's a reason why none of them were taking the initiative. They're both looking for the counter the whole time, and that was going to determine the fight. And that's why they were so hesitant to do something, because neither of them had their offense was not on par with their counter, and they both knew that. They both have better counters than offense, and that's what happens. It becomes very, very tight. Not a lot of action until one of them takes the initiative, like, I'm going to impress the ref. Yeah. And he tried a little too hard to impress the ref, opened himself up, put his guard down a little too much, got caught.
Smart from Matheus.
Matheus Diniz.
Yeah, beating the current world champion, Hulk. You know, like, it's a big win. Most even for the final.
Matheus Diniz moving into